here I am. Haven't done one of these in a very, very long time. So, just showing off my Sega Saturn collection. I thought about doing Dreamcast too, but it's just too many games. So, I know this video is going to go well over 20 minutes. This is not the type of video where I'm going to be bragging. Oh, I got this game for $10. I got this game for $600. I'll tell you little stories behind it, depending on the game. So there's gonna be certain stories. Res 215DG, I know him as Sega Life on Instagram. He was like, "Hey man, you should do one of these videos again, man. I used to love them." Okay. So I don't collect every single game. I collect games that I like, that I really enjoyed. Or maybe a game I thought, hey, that's a pretty cool game. Let me pick it up, play it, and not like it. Right? So, there's a couple games that I'm missing, like Night Striker S. I would have loved that. I would love Batsugun. Batsugun was one of my favorite shoot 'em ups. I wish I still had my copy of Blast Wind. I don't have it. My brother actually gave me that copy. I gave it back. I don't like shoot 'em ups. And when I got older, I started appreciating shoot 'em ups. So that was a regret. I had a copy of Shining Force 3, got rid of it. Dragon Force, that hurts. And I did have a lot of games when I was a kid, and it's just traded in for new games. Traded in for some cash to get a PlayStation 1 and games and stuff like that. And yeah, screwed up big time. That Panzer Dragoon Saga, even though I still have it, but it's not really the same because it's not my original owned copy. So many games. It just hurts. Just thinking about it, it's like, what a moron. But we didn't know any better back then. We didn't know a game was going to cost like $1,000 nowadays. But, oh well, you live and you learn. What other games? I would love to have a Hyper Duel. Elevator Action Returns. That's probably a couple more I can't think of the top of my head. But Batsugun, I would have loved to own Batsugun, but it is what it is. Not really Sega Saturn, related, but this is the Panzer Dragoon on PC. I got the first Virtua Fighter on a jewel case, and Knights in jewel case. So there you go. We're gonna start off with the American games, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, Sega Saturn sucks. Sega Saturn sucks. Woohoo!" It's because you're a moron. You're an idiot. You had to import the games. That's where all the good games were, in Japan. They were in Japan, not in America. There were a lot of great games in America, but Japan was the bread and butter. So, not only was the Sega Saturn the ultimate 2D machine, next to, obviously the Neo Geo, AES, and all that stuff, but it's also it's amazing game console for imports. Just phenomenal library of games. All the fighting games, a lot of the SNK games didn't even come to stateside, besides maybe on PS1 or whatever. That PS1 is, for 2D fighters, the PS1, absolutely disgusting. We'll start off with Fighting Vipers. Fighting Vipers, very underrated fighter. If you've never played it, you gotta check it out. And hey, if you're poor and you're broke, you can always use BizHog as your emulator for Sega Saturn games. Obviously, it's not gonna buff up the resolution. You'll be playing the games just like how a Sega Saturn game would look. So BizHog is a great, fantastic emulator for your Sega Saturn games. So, Fighting Vipers, man. I actually, if this franchise was much more popular, I probably would have picked this over Virtua Fighter any day of the week. Part 2 on the Dreamcast, but Part 1 is where it's at. The House of the Dead. I remember I used to play this a lot as a kid. A little fat, sweaty kid with that big blue gun. That I remember. One of my favorite games of all time, my top 3 favorite, Guardian Heroes. I actually never owned Guardian Heroes as a kid. I wish I did. This copy, I'm not gonna share this story. Let's just say I stole it. But hey, actually no, I actually bought this one. Yeah, I actually bought this one. Yes. Not the greatest condition, but whatever. No, I didn't steal. There's a couple games I did steal, but this is it. This is one. Fighters Mega Mix. This I actually bought a couple years ago. What's so cool about this? They actually has the Toys R Us receipt. I said, you know what, man? That just adds even more like nostalgia to it. But I remember this was possibly one of my first Sega, because I jumped on. I didn't buy a Sega Saturn right away as a kid because my cousin had it, my brother had it, so I freeloaded off my cousin's stuff so much that I'm like, I don't need it. I have the N64, yada yada, so I'm okay with that. But I think it was my godfather. We went to Toys R Us. I think the Saturn was probably like 150, 200, maybe 100. And then this game was like 10, 20 bucks at Toys R Us. And this was one of my first games that I personally, I bought for the Saturn. So awesome. One of my top 10s. A fantastic, amazing 3D fighter. And sadly, Sega never brought it back. We need a Fighters Mega Mix 2, please. We could have had like a whole bunch of them, but Sega just likes to sit around on their beautiful, gorgeous IPs and not do nothing with them and just keep milking the Yakuza and the Sonic, right? Or if they want to start, want to start using their old IPs, you know what they do? They pimp them out to low-end devs, French devs, garbage devs, shitty developers. They'll just pimp the IPs. Hey, you want to rent this guy? Yeah. We'll rent it. We'll make a very average game, which is not even good, and we didn't even put our heart and soul into it. Even though they say we were original fans of it. Really? Why does the game suck? Idiot. Die Hard Arcade. Look at that. This is the only Die Hard game I like anyway. Let me close that door because the reflection is ridiculous. Before we continue, we'll have a sip of coffee, right? Because it is early in the morning. Two sugars, cafe Bostelo, half and half milk, and a shot of protein, whey protein, or whatever you call it. So there you go. Let's see. This is much better, slightly better. All right, there you go. Die Hard Arcade. I did steal this one, but it's all right. It was like, hey, take it. I'm like, all right, I'll take it. Screw it. Oh no! The Cathlete is fun, man. Great fun game, especially with friends. This is the only Darius that I actually really like a lot. Darius Gaiden. I thought Darius Gaiden is fucking awesome. Great shoot 'em up. Bust a Move. I'm not really a puzzle guy. This was another one that was stolen, given away for free. So yeah, I'm not a fan of it. But I said, you know what? Let me keep it. Let me have it. A Winter Heat, similar to the Cathlete. So with the snow. Oh my god. Who we got here? Virtual Fighter Kids. Very underrated 3D fighter as well. And they never brought it back. Sadly. Never brought it back. Street Fighter Alpha. Street Fighter Alpha 2. There you go. We got all the alphas. Alpha 3's coming soon. Somewhere here. I got the Japanese games in alphabetical order. So I'm trying not to mess that up. I gotta go right to left here. But before I do jump on the Japanese games, I'll show the duplicates. But we'll continue with the American. Penta Dragoon Saga. A lot of people, I'll go ahead and be honest, I'll probably be one of the very few. They like to overhype this RPG. I think it's not amazing. I think it's average at best. Still very enjoyable nonetheless. I still prefer the rail shooters. But it's a good RPG. But I think people are like, they just praise it a little too heavy. A little too heavy. I gotta calm down. It's a good RPG, but it's not that amazing. I think it's just because it's very rare and expensive, so they jump all over it and be like, "Hey, it's the best one ever." No, it's a solid RPG. I did like it. I did beat it, and I do plan on streaming this game on the channel, whenever that may be. I'm actually probably not even gonna do Lunar. I might just jump straight to this after Shining of the Holy Ark, which I don't own. I don't own Shining the Holy Ark. Of course, Panzer Dragoon 2, Panzer Dragoon 1. My little piece of tape sticking out. I'm gonna have to put a new tape there. But yes, one of my favorite top 3 games. Top 3 games: Sonic 3, number 1. This is number 2, and number 3 is Guardian Heroes. But fantastic soundtrack too. Amazing orchestra, everything. The music is just beautiful. Especially when the first one is played, the main theme. I get goosebumps. I'm even getting goosebumps talking about it. I get so emotional. It's similar to the Soul Blaze Soul Edge intro on PS1. It's just, wow. That's just pure nostalgia, and it really gets me very emotional, to be quite honest with you. If I if I had a couple beers or some liquor or whatever, I'll start drenching and shit. Oh, shit hurts, man. No, it hurts. It hits the heart, dude. And then got the Last Bronx. Last Bronx didn't do very well outside of Japan, so that's why you never saw another Last Bronx. I'm surprised they never used any of these characters in Fighters Mega Mix. I mean, Fighters Mega Mix 2, you could use them, right? Right, Sega? But you won't do it. Because you're the big shits. You're the big shits, Sega. Why I even call myself Sega? Because everyone calls me Sega on the stream chats and all that stuff. Try to change my name something different, but they're like, "Hey Sega, I could be Big Gay Harry, Big Gay Lord, or Paul with the small balls," and they'll still call me Sega. So I give up. And by the way, my latest and recent purchase, like a month ago or so, was Dead or Alive on the Sega Saturn. Now, we're getting to the Japanese games. So before we do the duplicates, we got X-Men versus Street Fighter, and we got KOF 95. Now, a great story about this is, I remember my cousin bought this. And obviously me, I was freeloading. I'm like, oh man, oh my god. Because I remember seeing this in like a newsstand, the arcade machine, the Big Blue. At a newsstand where I used to live as a kid. It was just a couple blocks away. So I was, I can't play the game, man. I'm just little, I don't know how to play these shits with the joystick and all that. Little console kid, right? So I was just watch people play. I was just like, wow, man. Like, I was just blown away. Like, oh my gosh, Street Fighter? Love Street Fighter as a kid. Grew up with Street Fighter. And then the comics, I love Marvel comics as a kid. It's just X-Men, you got 2 things all together. It's like, what the hell? It was just insane for me. It just blew my mind. So then my cousin got this on the Saturn, and I remember it was in December. I got enough Christmas money because he worked in the city. Because that's when I used to live in New York. So this game was like $80 or close to $100. So I gave him the money. Can you give me a copy, please? I was waiting for him to come home all day. Finally came home, gave me the copy. I was like, yes, I finally have my own copy. I don't have to rely on, freeloading these people. Just have my own shit. Played the hell out of this game. Still my favorite versus game of all time. Still is. We got a duplicate. You can tell. But this one I would just buy like duplicates just to play on the side or whatever, so I don't have to touch my my other copies, the good condition ones. So we got KOF 96, X-Men Children of the Atom. Now we got Marvel superheroes, and I think it was a couple years ago I was looking through my collection. I was like, I don't have Marvel superheroes. I had the American version as a kid. I got rid of that because I'm a dumb little fat shit. And I remember that was back in 1997. It was like August or September when it came out. I was super hyped for that. I remember I got that. I remember I went to Toys R Us. So Toys R Us had this thing with pre-ordering. So you could pre-order games. I was like, oh shit, that's super cool. So I remember it was Marvel Superheroes, Castlevania Symphony of the Night for the PS1, obviously, and a couple other games you could pre-order. And back then, if you don't remember, back then you used to pre-order the games, right? Pre-order the games, you get a free T-shirt, depending on the game. You know, like Crash Bandicoot, I think Twisted Metal 3. I remember the Dreamcast. If you pre-order the Dreamcast console for like $10, you put $10, you get a free T-shirt. And what I used to do was, I used to go to Toys R Us, put the 10 for the Dreamcast, get the shirt, return the $10, get my $10 back, do another pre-order so I get another shirt. So I used to have like 2 or 3 shirts. I don't know if I still have one sealed or I'm on my last one. I'm not too sure. But yes, Final Fantasy VII was another one as well. But so yeah, there you go. So this game, I remember I bought like a couple years ago. I bought from the Japanese dude. From there, like oh, actually I didn't resurface this. Okay, shit's all fucked up. I thought I resurfaced this. I was gonna tell you a store to go to in New York City. It's called J&L. J&L would actually resurface your disc. So your disc is in pretty bad shape. You go there, they resurface it for $5. Probably went up in price, due to the pandemic and all. So they resurfaced the disc for like $5. This shit is brand spanking new. Pop that shit in, plays wonderfully. I thought I resurfaced this, but I guess not. But I remember I bought this from a Japanese dude. He was like, perfect, excellent condition. Excellent. Oh, yeah, it came in. She was all fucked up. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you better give me some money back, bitch. I'll keep it. You better give me some money back. Gave me some money back. Maybe I paid like $15 for this bullshit. Bullshit ass duplicate. There you go. That's the story. Samurai Showdown 4. I like Samurai Showdown 4 a lot. I think a lot of people didn't like it because it had a combo system. It had like too many combos. I think it was a little too friendly or something like that. I could be wrong, but I know a lot of people, love 2. 2 is, I would say 2 is the best, but I would say with 2 and 4 are my favorites. Samurai Showdowns. You got another copy of 95. Pocket Fighter. There you go. We got Pocket Fighter. Actually, yeah, I do have another card. I'm just curious with these CDs, because they do say these CDs do rot after a certain time, supposedly. They start rotting, it's supposed to get like these black dots or whatever. But it looks fine, it just has one little light scratch. We have another copy of Marvel Superheroes, I didn't even know that. Oh, good thing I'm going through this stuff. Let me see how this one is. This one should be in a better condition, yeah. It's flawless right here. Beautiful too. Now, actually I do have another one right here. There we go. So we got the good one. So we got 3 copies actually. Okay, well, there you go. That's what happens when you're a hoarder. You just hoard shit, right? Last Bronx. Fighters Mega Mix. Just like I mentioned earlier. Be nice to throw some guys in there, huh? Huh, Sega? No, you don't want to do that? You want to just keep milking the Sonic and the Yakuza? Okay. Virtual Fighter Remix. Yo, how about that Virtual Fighter 6, Sega? Make sure it has good netcode this time around, right? I like that Virtual Fighter. I think I like Virtual Fighter 5. The regular shit. Just the regular version. Than the PS4 version. I went back to play some of the Virtual Fighter 5. It just feels so much smooth. It just feels great. And then this Virtual Fighter 5 on the PS4 5 just feels off. It feels a tad bit slow. I don't know. I'm just a scrub, right? Virtual Fighter 4 Evolution is the best one. So we got Remix. Remix is great. I love Remix. We got Virtual Fighter 2. We got Street Fighter Collection. I remember this game. I had the American version as well. I remember the CD was so stuck inside the fucking thing there. I cracked the CD as a kid. And then I had to send my mom to go to the store, because I was a little pussy. But she was able to get me a brand new copy and everything worked out fine. That shit was just nearly impossible to take out the CD. It was really stuck inside that damn case. Hey, got a new copy, right? Real about special. Street Fighter 02. How long is this? It's gonna be like over 30 minutes. Jesus Christ, Panzer Dragoon 2. We got Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter. This was pretty good. It was good versus game, but the best one is this one right here. Let's put right on top of that one, right? There you go. Now we're gonna go to the real deal. Let's try not to mess this up because I have everything alphabetical order. Guru 3, and I think this was actually my very first import. But this is not the original one that I have on my hand. But my first very import for the Sega Saturn as a kid. I think my brother bought it. There was a store over 82nd Roosevelt Avenue. So that's where they had like the imports, the used games, and great deals for games. No tax either. That's back then when they didn't charge tax. Well, some stores didn't charge tax. So this was 1999. My brother got it for me. He was like, "All right, I'll buy you this." Bought it for me, and this was actually this could possibly be my very first. No, it might have been KOF 95 or 96. That was my first SNK game. And that was on the console anyway, but this was definitely my first one that I owned, import wise and SNK wise. So pretty cool, very solid fighter. We got ourselves Dynamite Deca, which is Die Hard Arcade. I was gonna say more about that story, the store in general though. So I used to sell the games too, and they'll give you cash and all that. So we would just call it the Chinos because there's a whole bunch of Chinos that own it. But that was a great store back then. There was a lot of nostalgia, especially in the 90s. That was an awesome store to go to. And there was a lot of mom and pop shops around New York in general, in Queens, in the city and all that. Like Panzer Dragoon Saga, I remember I got that off a store in the city somewhere. I think it was my dad that drove me. And I think my brother went in the store. He grabbed me a copy because I think it was the only place that really had it. So that I remember, but I don't remember the store's name though. It was like some, I don't know, some fucking corner shit, or whatever, in the middle of like nowhere in New York. One of those avenues, those whatever. Dungeons and Dragons. There we go. We got Dungeons and Dragons. My brother gave me this. This is a shoot 'em up from, I believe this is Konami, if I stand correct. Konami. I know what it is, I just don't know the name. Daytona, USA, Daytona. Darius Gaiden, another copy of Darius Gaiden, Japanese. Christmas Nights. The go-to game for every Christmas, right? You just want to be a follower, right? You just want to be like everybody else, including myself. Just want to be like everybody else. We'll play night on Christmas Day. Play night. Biohazard. This is actually gifted by someone on Instagram. They're like, "Hey man, I have this. I don't have a Saturn. I don't know why I fucking have this. You want it?" I'm like, "All right, I'll take it." All right, some appreciation. They show some appreciation. Thank you, Bookworm, my something. All right, thank you. We got Assault Suit Lenos 2. I believe this is House of the Dead, and it's actually I think it's a CO2. House of the Dead. Gradius Deluxe. There you go. We got a bunch of Gradius going on. We have Golden Axe Duel, the fighting game of Golden Axe, which was pretty decent. It's a decent fighter. I remember there's a story behind that when I bought the American version. So my brother was like, "Hey, let me take you out." So I was a little kid. So we walked all the way from, I don't know if we're still living in the old house or not. I think so. We were living on the old house. I walked all the way to Toys R Us. and they got me a copy of this for like $10, $5. Toys R Us was just getting rid of all the Saturn games. So, remember that game In the Hunt? They were giving that shit literally like almost for free, like $5. That game is going for so much money. So just imagine someone's like, you know what? This game is $5. Let me buy 30 copies. There's got to be a guy that's sitting somewhere with 30 copies of In the Hunt sealed. That would be awesome though. But I remember a lot of those games were fucking dirt cheap. They were just literally just throwing this shit away. But Toys R Us did that a lot with all the consoles, like the Genesis, the Super Nintendo. So now you have the PlayStation, the Saturn coming out. A lot of those Genesis and Super Nintendo games were on sale. They were just giving that shit almost for free. Crazy. We have. I think my brother gave me this one as well. It's another similar to that shoot 'em up Konami game. We have Gale Racer. I don't remember buying this, to be quite honest. This is actually graphically very beautiful 2D racer. Very beautiful 2D graphics. Galaxy Force is cool. Very good game. Arcade game. We have, I know this is like a Fire Pro Wrestling, whatever the hell type game. Ultrapan, I believe it's Ultrapan. Ultrapan with the Virtual Fighter characters with Wolf and Jeffrey. With all that gloss, I love it. And Reflection, excuse me. And I played a lot. I played this game a lot because I loved wrestling as a kid. I used to play all the wrestling games. Well, at least I tried. And I remember enjoying it a lot. I need to replay this. I have not played this in a very long time. I actually do want to do a stream of this because I don't think a lot of people don't talk about this game. I don't think it never had an English translation. It would have been pretty cool if it did. Now, I think this was my first Fire Pro wrestling game. The 6-man tornado tag, 6-man scramble. Now, this game was pretty fucking cool. I remember my cousin bought it, and we were both playing it together. And it was actually a very cool, awesome wrestling game, especially on the Saturn. I know there's another one. There's another Fire Pro, but I remember this one greatly because of the double jewel case. Another copy of Fighters Mega Mix and Fighting Vipers. Wow, still got a long way to go, man. I'm at 30 minutes, 40-minute video, 10-minute edit, 1 hour uploading. It's all good, man. I'm having a good time. So. I actually wanted to drink a beer, but I'm not drinking a beer 9 in the morning. Probably have 2 beers later today. How about that? Maybe I'll fire up the Ultrapan Pro Wrestling with Wolf and Jeffrey. Maybe I'll do a little bullshit YouTube video of that if I'm in the mood. So how you like the video so far? Remember to drop a like and don't forget to smash that subscription button, okay? Don't forget to do that stuff. Don't do all that, okay? Remember that. Remember, I got a membership on the channel too, 99 cents a month. You want to throw your 99 cents away? You want to throw your money away? You could do that too. But you won't because you're a cheap fuck and you're useless. Fucking bums. Okay, so we got Tachio Chase HQ Police. I remember I always wanted this game. I finally got it. It was affordable. Street Fighter 03, Street Fighter Alpha 3. I would say the best console versions of Street Fighter Alpha 3 will always be the PSP. PSP is extremely beloved. People love it. And this is the second one. It's amazing. Shit's all over that PlayStation 1 crap. And I actually prefer the Saturn version over the Dreamcast version. We got 02. We got 01. Both with great, fantastic soundtracks. Better soundtracks over 3 in my personal opinion. Oh, we got Street Fighter the movie. I remember I had the American shit too. This game, I tried to stream it. I got to Bison, and Bison was just whooping my ass. Did I even beat that game on stream? I don't remember. But, dear Lord, why did I do that to myself? Got the Puzzle Fighter. I mean, not the Puzzle Fighter. I mean, Yeah, it is Puzzle Fighter 2, excuse me. And another one's Pocket Fighter. Sorry about that. Another copy of the collection. I wish I still had the American version, though. Would have been nice. We got Samurai Showdown 4 and 3. We got Space Harrier. Amazing, fun arcade shooter. I think this is called. It was published by Electric Arts. Look at that. Is it called Son Goku? Goku 2, whatever. I don't have Shingagara, whatever the hell's pronounced. Excuse me, sorry. I don't have that. I know my brother loves that shooter. That's one of his favorites. X-Men, Children of the Atom, Virtual Fighter 2, Virtual Fighter Remix. We got Virtual Fighter 1, Vampire Savior. I remember, this is not my original purchase, but there was a place in Main Street, called Main Street, over there in Flushing. So that was a mom and pop shop, Chinitos, and that's the first time I bought this game. I think it was 50. I think it was 50 or 60. Just the loan copies. I didn't need the 4 mag. I already had the 4 mag card from X-Men vs. Street Fighter. So I remember that's the first time I bought a Vampire Savior over at Main Street, Flushing. That I always remember. And sometimes as a kid, you would go to the store, like the mom and pop shops, and you see all these imports, and you see all the amazing art. That's one thing that these Japanese games had. It just had phenomenal art, even especially the PlayStation 1 games, the Sega Genesis, the Mega Drive games, the art was just phenomenal. And you see the American shit, you're like, this shit is stale as fuck. That's an ugly ass cover. What was this cover? Doesn't make no sense at all. What was this game mean with this? And then you see the Japanese shit. Oh, okay, it's a fighting game. There you go. But the man, that Japanese art, man, look at that. It's beautiful, man. Beautiful art. We got Darkstalkers, a Vampire Hunter, excuse me. Thunder Force Gold Pack 2. I don't have Gold Pack 1 because I like the older Thunder Force games, like 3, 4. But I personally bought this for 3. Thunder Force 5, gotta have Thunder Force 5. Thunder Force 6 was actually quite decent on the PS2. That was so bad. But Thunder Force 5, man, I'm surprised they never re-released it. Maybe it's because copyright issues or whatever. Because they love whoring out Radius Silvergun, especially Ikaruga. They love whoring that shit out constantly. They gotta add that shit to like every single console. Ikaruga has to come on every console. So when the PS6 comes out, Ikaruga is gonna be on the 6. Don't worry about it, okay? But everything else, like these really good underrated shooters, like Thunder Force 5, they'll just be ignored. So it's okay. So your treasure's still around, I'm assuming. And they got a shitload of games, but I think it's because of the copyrights and publishing issues with Konami and all these other people. I think that's the problem. But man, Treasure made some amazing games, man. And they were behind a lot of other games that a lot of people didn't know, like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle beat 'em ups. Obviously, I think, yeah, let's just keep it that way. But I know that we're behind a lot of games that a lot of people weren't aware of. So another copy of Marvel Superheroes. You can tell that I love Marvel Superheroes, huh? I do, actually. I wish I had my American copy. I really do. I thought that was actually a pretty cool cover too. I liked it. It was pretty cool art. Not as good as this, but definitely still a good layer section 2, layer section 1. Another copy of the Los Bronx. We got another shoot 'em up collection from the Konami archives. Antiques, I mean. Kingdom, this is Kingdom Grand Prix. Actually a pretty good shoot 'em up. We got 97. I played a lot of 97 as a kid because I will try to get all the endings with the different teams and all that stuff. And you had to pick like certain characters in order to get a certain ending or whatever. I mean, I think it was in the gallery art when you get like a piece of art or something like that. I could be wrong, but I remember I would just constantly just play the game, and I would constantly want to fight Evil Yori, Evil Leona, and all that shit. That shit was very fun back in the day. So I'll probably say, besides 2003 and 13, probably 97 was one of the most played. Even though I love 96. 96 due to the soundtrack. 96 has an amazing, fantastic soundtrack. Uh, yeah, 96, 98, 2003, 13 were my personal favorites. But I played a lot of 97. We got 2 copies of 96 right here. I think one of them is sealed, by the way. Gotta have the Sonic Jam. This is another one I had. I had the American version as well. And another game that people love is Burning Rangers. I could never get into Burning Rangers. You see me, I don't own that shit. I don't care about Burning Rangers. I don't care about being a futuristic fireman and jumping around like a monkey inside where there's fire and shit going on, trying to save people and washing fires out. I'm sorry to say, I could never get into Burning Rangers. Burning Rangers was a very different and a very unique game, though. I do give credit. It stood out for sure, but I just could never get into that one. Burning Rangers. People love Burning Rangers, and I remember I had a copy of Burning Rangers, and I sold that as well. Idiot. That's when I needed some money, and remember I sold that shit for peanuts back in in the early 2000s. That shit was peanuts. Now it's like you're setting all these games. That's it. You're set for life. You know, if something happens, God forbid, hopefully not, you sell your collection, which is something that I'll probably do when I get to my 40s. I'm gonna sell majority of the stuff because the sentimental, I don't have a sentimental attachment to them anymore. Probably keep a few games like Fighters Mega Mix, Panzer Dragoons, Sonic 3 and stuff like that, but outside of that, I'm selling majority of them. And by the way, if you're still watching, we're at 37 minutes. I have Genesis games. You want me to do a Genesis video in the future? A Dreamcast video in the future? An Xbox, PS2, PS1? PS1 I don't have that much. I have a lot of Xbox games. OG Xbox. Shinobi. The Sega Saturn version of Shinobi, which was decent. It wasn't that bad. Obviously Shinobi 3. Shadow Dance is 100 times better, but hey, it's something. Sega Rally. Like racing games, not wrestling games. Real Bout Fatal Fury Special. Got the Pocket Fighter. One thing I did notice, I don't think I have Real Bout. I need to get Real Bout. But I think at this point, I don't want to collect anymore. I don't care anymore. Panzer Dragoon 2. Panzer Dragoon 1. And we have this fighting game that I actually had. It's called, I think it's called in America, Dark Legends. This was actually quite a decent fighter, and I believe I did stream the sequel to this. There is a sequel, like a better version of this, and it's actually not bad. It's actually a pretty solid fighter. Outrun, I love Outrun. Awesome game. Oh, this is the beat 'em up. I've streamed this. I streamed the Saturn and the PS1 version. Saturn is definitely the version to play. A hot-blooded family. We've got Metal Slug. We got Metal Slug and Marvel versus Street Fighter again. But Metal Slug. Let's get into Metal Slug before we end this video. Metal Slug is my favorite Metal Slug of all time. The first one. So I would play this game. I would put it like on the hardest difficulty. I would set goals for myself and make sure I play through this game without continuing. Like I'll have like a life, okay, you know, I'll lose a life or two or whatever, but I will make sure I'll beat this game without continuing, which I have done many times. So Metal Slug was a game that I would constantly go back to. I love Metal Slug. 2, 3. I think these Metal Slug games, when they're just straight to the point, the hairs of my mustache tickling my nose. I don't do cocaine, trust me. It's just, Jesus Christ, keeps going up my nose. I like the first Metal Slug because it's very straight to the point, short and sweet. That's how I like my beat 'em ups too, short and sweet. Let's have a beat 'em up. 25 minutes, 30, close to 30 minutes. If it's over 30 minutes, like 35, but it's like it's playable and it's still very enjoyable, fine. But once a beat 'em up or one of those shooters go over 40 minutes, it's so dreadful. It's like you're just doing the same shit over and over again. It gets very repetitive and boring. That's how I feel. But the first Metal Slug, straight to the point. And I loved about it. It was just all army men and just all military related. And then it just started to get really goofy afterwards. So that's why I didn't really care too much. I didn't like Metal Slug 6 or 7 or X. I did like XX. XX was pretty good. With Leona and Ralph and Clark and all those guys, when they were in the game, I thought that added like something different to it. So I really enjoyed that one as well. But the first one will always be my favorite of all time. I love the first Metal Slug, man. But yeah, man, there you go. So it's all the Saturn games. Do I plan on buying more, collecting more? Absolutely not. Unless it's gifted to me, I'll take a gift. Thank you. But other than that, I am absolutely done. Dreamcast, Sega Genesis, nothing really. There was one Genesis game I forgot I really wanted. It was like a shoot 'em up. I think it only came out in Japan, I believe. They wanted like $200-300 for it. It was this these two girls. I already forgot the name. It was actually a very good shoot 'em up. Beautiful 2D graphics too. The Dreamcast, nothing. I actually just wanted Seaman. I bought Seaman when it first came out. I was just like, what the fuck is going on here? I had the mic and everything. Mike wasn't very that responsive. It's just fucking weird. But I would actually want to experience that again. Seaman, or whatever the hell's called. Well, yeah, all right. I'm missing some heavy ones, but it's all good. Like I said, I just collect the shit that I really like, enjoy, and love. And that's that. And if you actually watch this whole entire video, thank you. You guys have a great one. Take care and be safe.